I have secured another big bag of Premier yarn. I am still trying to master the art that is amigurumi. So far, I have been happy with how my banana cat turned out. Still a little wonky, still a little lumpy, but this was one of my best attempts here. Other ones that I was happy with was this super fat Christmas grimace and this not so fat birthday grimace. I think they both are very cute and I was happy with how those turned out. Most recent thing I made that I was happy with is my Death the Smoochie Rhino. Still not the best, but I feel like I'm slowly getting it. This pattern I used from Crochetgrove, and I downloaded her horse pattern that she recently made, and I will be attempting to make the Equestranauts from Bob's Burgers. So this video is just going to be me using Premier yarn, trying out the pattern, and letting you know what I think and how everything turned out on my amigurumi quest. Let's open this bag of yarn and see what's going on and get started. First we have this yellow Premier yarn, so in the shade Sunshine. This is my first time using the Parfait chunky yarn. So far it feels very soft, which I like. Next we have this limited edition chunky yarn. It's in the shade Smoothie. Same as the other one, super soft. This more magenta-y color, shade Berry Berry. I honestly forgot what I ordered, so this is kind of like a surprise for me also. More pink. This one is a neon. Proton purple. First I thought it said Pone purple. Proton. We have another limited edition. Acai. We had to get some white yarn. I did get a couple more of the pom-pom yarn because if you saw my last Premier video, you know that I was obsessed with this yarn. So I had to order it in orange because that is my favorite color. This one's a really pretty lilac color. In the shade Lilac. I'm so good at guessing names. I got a very dark purple in the shade Eggplant. Do you call yarn shades? I don't know. Or just color. In the color Eggplant. It's got a little crinkle. Sea Glass. It's a really pretty, very pretty seafoam green. Some more purple here. This is in the color Iris. Got this turquoise. Some came in little baggies. I think this is another Eggplant, yeah. Another Eggplant. This one's in the shade Lagoon. Last one. This one I got in another different type of yarn because it was the only color I could see that was close to one of the Equestranauts I was looking at. So that one's gonna look a little bit different. This one's not quite as soft as the Parfait chunky yarn, but it's still pretty soft, and it's a little bit smaller. It's just in bulky. So she's gonna be a petite little horse. I also got some eyeballs. Looks like the only ones that came in were the forest sage eyeballs I got. I got them in 3 different sizes because I didn't know which one would look good on the horses. So I have, I think, 4 more eyes coming, but this is the ones I have right now. So I might have to postpone crocheting some of them until the other eyeballs come in, but I'll start with whoever's eyes match these colors. These are so cute though. This is how my first Equestronaut turned out. I will admit that it has been like a week or 2 since I started this project. The first attempt at making this left me a little bit frustrated. I had to take a break and come back to it. I really struggled with how to attach the legs, even though I, watched the video that was linked in the pattern. I kept watching it on repeat and I was like, what am I doing wrong? I am just stupid. It was very frustrating. I'm sure everyone's had a moment like that with learning crochet or any kind of craft, really, where you really just need to take a step back and revisit it, because when I went back the next time, I got it on the first time and I was like, wow, made a big deal over nothing. But yeah, I almost scrapped this idea, but I had bought all this yarn. So my first attempt, I think she turned out pretty good. I can't tell if I put her head on backwards or not. I think I also overstuffed her a little bit. Her eyes are kind of bulging out a little too much, and her nose isn't quite defined like in the picture. However, I think this is a really pretty color. The eyes work very well with the character. So my first attempt was okay. I wouldn't say a success, but I think she looks fine for all the struggle I was going through. Yeah, so I am going to move on to the next one. I have a couple more I need to make. Second one turned out. This one is Chariot. I feel like I made the head too small for the body, but the hair kind of helped mask that. So I feel like I'm getting better. I had turned this inside out, and because that was the only way I could get it to stand up for some reason. Slowly getting better. I am just gonna speed through the other ones and I will show you the end result of how those turned out. Hello everyone, it's been about a month since I started my Equestronaut project. Like I said earlier in the video, I took a little longer to do it just because I got a little frustrated with how my first one was turning out and just kind of trying to follow the pattern. Patterns are pretty hard to write, and it's one of those things that it's not a one size fits all. It's just like any kind of learning style. Everyone learns a little bit differently, so mine is just constant failure until one day I get it, unless I don't. I'll show you my results. First one I did is head horn. This is the one where I turned the body inside out just because I couldn't get it to stand up the right side. And the head, I feel like, looks weird. It's very long in the comparison to the others. And I don't know. But this was the first attempt. So she... Also, I overstuffed it a bit, so the eyes are pretty bulgy. That is head horn. The second one I worked on is chariot. The classic chariot doll where if you merge mouths with it, your youth lasts forever. Or whatever that guy was saying, Bronconius. So the head was a little bit smaller than the previous one, and the body is the correct way. The one thing I did misstep here, because there was supposed to be a half double crochet on the legs. Didn't do that. Don't know why. Guess I was just cruising with single crochet. So her head and body seem a little bit off to me. But the second attempt, I feel like I was getting there. Third that I worked on is Minnie. Seems very bright. Try and get that cooled down. Used a 3mm trying to make her a little bit smaller than the rest. The legs, I really am trying not to have a gutter mind with the shape of these. Turned out, I feel like, fine. I feel like the chariot one turned out a little better. I don't know if it's because of using a smaller hook, but I just could not like get her head straight on. Everything just seems lopsided to me. That one is Minnie. The last main Equestronaut I worked on was Peggy Sis. I used a 4.5mm hook, so this one's bigger. With the other ones, my hand was starting to hurt, and like I just wanted to get it done, to be honest. So I boosted up a little on the size, so I used a 4.5. But this is the one that I waited till last because of the color switch. I thought it might be a little harder, but it wasn't too bad. It's Peggy Sis. I did use I did more long pieces for her hair, and then just a little bit of a bang. I tried to copy the picture as close as possible. Last but not least is the unofficial Equestronaut, which is going to be Bobcephala. Trinity yarn I used that I was originally going to use for many. I don't know why. Like, the more I looked at the picture, I couldn't tell if she was pink or purple or magenta. So I just ended up using the neon pink, and I feel like that is close enough to that color. And it worked out just because of Bob having a homemade costume. So it's kind of ropey looking, kind of like his costume's hair was. And I did something a little different on this one because for some reason on all of them, I could not get the nose to be very round. It was always kind of blocky, and it's pretty round in the pictures. And when I looked at the photos, it was going this way. But so I decided to try doing it the other way to see if I could make it rounder, which it didn't, but that just kind of adds to Bob's like homemade, not so great, but great costume. Decided to use little plain safety eyes for this one. I just wanted to throw Bobcephala in there. I thought about putting a little mustache here, but it just looked weirder than it already looked. So I opted not to do that. I'm not sure if it's because I didn't change the like hoof color, because the Equestranauts' feet are pretty much the same color, except for the Pegasus one was the only one that had like a defined hoof. So I don't know if that's why, but I couldn't get the like cute little ridge that was in the pictures. And then yeah, like I just like struggled to make the nose like more rounded. I did buy knitting needles to help keep the head in place when I was sewing it on, and I do feel like that helped me a lot, because usually my heads are like crooked no matter what I was doing, but I feel like most of these, like the mini one is a little off, but most of the other ones, I feel like the head is on pretty straight. So that was definitely a good tip if you haven't used that before for amigurumi and you're kind of a beginner at it like me. That was definitely helpful. I got ones that were pretty thin, so that works out, so they didn't like blow a hole through anything. My final thoughts on the Parfait yarn is it's gonna be a pass for me. I'm not a fan of the Chanel yarn at all. That was my first time using it. I understand like why people use it for these little plushies, because it is very soft, it is very pretty, but it is a pain to work with. It gets all over the place, and especially if you need to backtrack and undo your project, it like pretty much destroys the yarn. Even using like a very loose tension, I would try and like gently undo it, and it would just, all the little tufts would go everywhere, and a lot of the time the yarn would just break off, and part of it would be like unusable because it was all haggard. And that wasn't good. Like, I think I would just like to use a regular yarn to do something like this, or like a different kind of chunky yarn. I will put everything I used down in the description though, if you like how it looked and how it turned out. All of the Equestronaut colors are really pretty, and they're all very unique. Like, I do love how different they are, but like it's all so pretty and works together very well. I really like this green, this sea foam, or whatever it is. I do have a few leftover skeins that I didn't end up using, so I do have some Parfait yarn left. I don't know what I would use for it now that I don't really like it, but I'm sure I'll find a pattern so it doesn't go to waste. That's gonna do it for me today. I appreciate you if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any ideas of what I should work on next or try out, leave a comment or give some constructive criticism on what I could do better when it comes to amigurumi. I would like to know what I'm doing wrong because I feel like I really thoroughly read the pattern, but then obviously I don't, since I did a single crochet instead of a half double crochet like a big old dum-dum. I hope you have a wonderful day, get that serotonin boost, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!
Tina?
What?
Play with the doll.
But I'm too old to...
Tina, play with the doll!
Play with the doll, Tina. Come on, do it.
Hey.
Play with it!
Hey, nay.
Make it jump.
She doesn't.
I know it doesn't jump. You know how I know that?
Because
I read 1,200 pages of Equestranauts crap.